Hey guys, it's Kim here with Fairly Fiber Fun. Thanks so much for joining me on another video. Today I am taking you through the process start to finish, the whole thing of prepping the wool, spinning from the lock, plying, scouring, drying, and setting the twist. So before I get into the full voiceover and while I get the wheels set up, I wanted to say a big welcome to all the new subscribers. You guys are amazing and I appreciate you very much. And if you enjoyed today's video, please give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. And yeah, don't hesitate to leave comments. Let me know what you think about this technique of spinning from the lock. And have you ever spun in the grease before? Do you like it? All those lovely things. I am still undecided about spinning in the grease. There's pros and cons to it. The biggest thing about this particular spin is the huge difference between the dirty yarn and the clean yarn. It completely transformed in the scouring and it was just amazing. So spinning in the grease and dirty wool, I did flick the locks, which loosened up all the wool, all the dirt. Not the wool, did that too though. So it loosened up the dirt and spread it out evenly through the fibers while getting the majority of it out, which means that I got quite dirty and my wheel got quite dirty, but it worked all right. Now, one thing I have to mention here is that my locks were not all the same length. I had some that were about an inch or a little over an inch long, and some that were 4 inches long. So that made it difficult to get a very even, smooth yarn and good transitions and stuff. I had a lot of weak spots, and when I transferred this yarn to a storage bobbin for plying, it broke about 8 or 10 times. It was not fun. I got very frustrated with it because, one of the things about being a really good spinner is not having your singles break when you're going to ply them. And I pride myself on making a strong single that can withstand being plied or rewound onto a storage bobbin. This one was not like that. So I'll put it down to a lack of experience with spinning from the lock. It has never been an enjoyable way for me to spin. I've never liked it. I prefer to do brainless spinning that I don't have to think about. I get into a groove and I just go. I did want to spin this a bit thicker, but it turned out to be pretty thin. But the transformation after scouring, like I mentioned earlier, was fantastic. So with the lanolin in, I find that it makes the drafting smooth and wonderful, whether it's carded fiber or flicked locks. That lanolin really, really helps. And I did take a page out of Jen Johnson's book. She is the owner of Whispering Pines Farm and Soft Shetland Wool shop online. I'll put those links down below. She also has a YouTube channel and she shows all sorts of wonderful things about her farm life and how she processes fibers herself. You should definitely go check her out if you don't already follow her. I recommend it. So plying was simple. I did a center pull ball and I did put a piece of pipe in the center of this. I didn't have a ball winder, a cake winder at the time. I only had a cone winder, and I do not ever recommend getting a cone winder. They are a pain in the patootie. They don't want to hold their shape when you take them off the cone. But, as far as workable, yes. But it's worth the investment to get a ball winder that makes a cake that you can do a center pull plying ball from. I now have one. I will show that to you guys in another video. Anyway, after this skein was done, I had spun up a different batch of raw wool and used the same cake winder, ball winder, but did not put anything in the middle, and I had a mess throughout the entire plying process. So if you are spinning in the grease, you may want to keep something in the center of your plying ball so you don't have a collapse in the middle. Just FYI, little tip from the pro here. No, I'm not a pro, obviously. I made a lot of mistakes during this spin, but overall it was fairly fun and enjoyable. My favorite part is here when the dirt just comes poofing out of the fiber, out of the yarn. So much fun to watch this transformation. And here I thought I'd show you a little bit of getting the water ready for the scour, because my tap water maybe reaches 120 degrees and I need a minimum of 140 to get a good scour. I am using Unicorn products, but since I'm not using a spin dryer right now, I thought I would do an extra rinse. Usually I just do one pre-soak, one scour, one rinse, and I'm done. But if you don't have a spin dryer or a way to really get the water out of your yarn very thoroughly, this is a few extra steps, but it works very, very well. Here I used somewhere around a teaspoon of Power Scour, and it's probably more than I needed. This is a fairly small skein of yarn. I think on washed wool, I can fit about an ounce, ounce and a half on the bobbin for that antique wheel. This shows the difference between the first two pre-soaks. So most of the dirt came out before I even put the soap in. I really like doing that so that the scour doesn't have to work through so much. And there on that scour, the water is almost clean. First rinse, and before I forget, I do want to mention I soaked each of these, except for the two rinses, I soaked them for about 10 minutes. It takes around 5 minutes for my little kettle to come to a boil, so the first two rinses, pre-soaks, were done in the time it took to boil the water. But everything after that was 10 minutes. On this last rinse, I am using Unicorn Fiber Rinse to further soften up the fibers and get them as amazing as I possibly can. If you're going to dye, do not use the fiber rinse until after you've done your dyeing, because it will help the dye to adhere to the fiber and become permanent and can interfere with the dyeing process. So please make sure you save the fiber rinse for after you dye if you're going to. This is how I dry my yarn when I'm not using the spin dryer, which I do own. I have a wonderful little spin dryer. It speeds things up considerably, but if you don't have one, this works. Snapping the yarn is how I prefer to set the twist, so I was showing that to you guys. And then I'm going to let you see the gorgeous clean yarn. It's incredibly light and airy and amazing, and somewhere around a fingering weight. Until next time, I'll see you later. Bye guys!